95% of businesses are not seeing a return on their AI investment. Is that true? So it's not ROI, they are failed projects. So let me try and pull up it's at 95% or 90%, it's a lot. MIT, here we go. The Gen AI Divide, the state of AI in business, surveyed 300 AI deployments. It's not many. Here we go. I'm going to pull up the Tom's hardware. So these are pilots. And pilots don't work all the time. So what I'd really like to see is how many non-generative AI projects are going ahead. Because the really cool thing about Gen AI is you can use it to pilot and prototype a project really quickly. Like really quickly. I can hop onto a vibe coding tool, spin up a prototype of an idea that I have, and have it ready in an hour or so to show to customers, to show to stakeholders very quickly. That means that speed of being able to prototype and pilot means that it's also easier to dump those projects. And that is not a bad thing. You should not proceed with a project if it's not going to work. And that's why we do pilots. That's why we do prototypes. So we can play around with it. We can kick the tires, see if what we're building works, if anyone's going to want it. And if not, we kill it very quickly. And then we move on to the next thing. Previously, building projects before generative AI, we had to have meetings. We had to have multiple teams. We used to have Scrum, have a workflow. It would take a long time to get a pilot off the ground. Now I can technically have a pilot off the ground by the end of today, and then either proceed with it or discontinue it. So I think we also need to look into that when we talk about 95% of generative AI implementations having no measurable impact, is how many of them are just getting shuttered, basically, because it is much cheaper to shut them down. So I think that's one thing that we need to look into. The main issue that I'm seeing in the commentary on this particular MIT article is that this is also companies learning what to do with Gen AI. Because remember, Gen AI, as we know it, has only been around for a couple of years. We've had generative AI for longer, but it's come into the kind of public in the last couple of years, and these projects have started to come online within the last year or so. So I think we also need to take into account that this is a very new technology and there is going to be a higher rate of failure. So the fact that 5% of them are generating an ROI, pretty solid. We need to have a look at what those projects are. So here we go. As per the report, studies finding purportedly demonstrates only about 5% of AI pilot programs achieve rapid revenue acceleration. Okay, that's interesting. Are all of the projects for revenue, or are they for operations streamlining? Are they for cost reduction? So not necessarily all of them have to be revenue driving. If I'm starting a project, there's many ways I'd do that, but that's another point. It says that the vast majority stall and deliver little to no measurable impact on profit and loss. The findings are based on 150 interviews, a survey of 350 employees, and an analysis of 300 public deployments of AI. I think it's fine. We need more research. 300 deployments is not that many. That said, if only 5% are moving forward, then there might be a problem here, and we need to work out what that problem is. Is it because we're just trying more projects? We're just throwing more spaghetti at the wall and we're not expecting it to stick? Or is there something fundamental underlying that is not working? Are the companies using AI for the wrong thing? Is the AI not good enough? What is that problem there? But I don't think it's quite as dramatic as the headline puts forth. The headline sounds scary. It's 95% of implementations fail, have no measurable impact, but we need to dig into it a little bit more than that. How can I sell AI automations to mid-size and small businesses? Which industry is best to use? So this comes back to the question of 95% of implementation seem to be failing. So what is that 5% that is working? You have to start with any automation, with any kind of consultancy or advisory. You need to start with what is the business. You have to, don't go and chase an industry just because you think it's hot, just because that industry is making money. If you don't have a background in that industry, you're not going to be able to make any impact. So you're asking what industry is best for me. What's best for me is going to be very different to what is best for you, Alexander. You need to start in whatever your industry is. So if you've been working in manufacturing for the last 10 years and the problems that companies in manufacturing have, go and help them. Go and help them work out how to fix those problems. That is the core fundamental of business. It's got nothing to do with AI. That's just business. We need to find the problems and solve them. Just going into a company and saying, hey, I'm going to do AI, that's insufficient. And that's probably why a lot of these pilots are also failing, because you can't just throw AI at a problem and assume that it's going to get fixed. So first, within your particular niche,